Hi, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the webinar. We're waiting for a couple of moments until maybe everyone has had the opportunity to join. But I see the lobby is empty already, and we don't expect that much people for the English session. So I think we can start already. Again, welcome to the webinar on the renewed audit program from GS1 Belgium and Luxembourg. Together with Steffi, I will present to you the new program today. But before we start, I have some mandatory slides. GS1 operates under the GS1 competition law caution, which means that there will be no discussion of prices, allocation of customers, or market share during this session. Further, we have the intellectual property condition. The information shared during this webinar cannot be claimed as an intellectual property. If you would need more information on this intellectual property statement or the competition law caution, then please visit our website. You should also note that this webinar is being recorded, and we will use the recording to share the information we share with you after the session as well. Which brings me to some more practical points. You noticed already that you are muted. It's to make sure that everyone has a good listening experience. It doesn't mean that you cannot ask questions, but to do so, you can use the Q&A, which is on top of the Teams screen. Please ask your questions already during the session. We will try to answer them along the road, and we will have some time as well at the end. You also don't need to take any print screens. We will share the presentation with you afterwards. That's everything for the practical side. Now let's go to the agenda for today. I will start with an introduction on data quality and why it is important. Then we will see the renewed principles of the audit program. And after that, Steffi will explain to you the step-by-step guide for an audit. And then before we close the session, we will have a look at data capture and some practical points to get started. So let's start with an introduction on the data quality and the question why data quality is important. Currently, we see that My Product Manager and GDSN are more and more becoming the unique source to exchange product data. And this, because we see as well that there is an increasing demand from customers, but as well because of the different, often European regulations that are demanding more and more data to be exchanged. And especially the customers, they want to have this information online, to have it visual in a digital way, to make informed buying decisions as well. But whether you are a retailer or a supplier, for both parties, it's sometimes difficult to know if the data that is being shared is useful and is used. For example, if you are a retailer, you have a lot of different suppliers. So you have many sources that are publishing the data to you, and you're not sure if everyone is interpreting all the attributes in the same way. Same can be said for a supplier. You might be trying to fill the data as careful as possible, but even then you are not sure that you meet the expectation of your customer, and you don't have any proof that your data is of a good quality. And with the GS1 data quality program, we aim to offer a solution for that by making My Product Manager not only the single source of truth as it is today, but also the single source of trust. And we do this with the GS1 data quality program consisting out of two pieces, let's say. The first one is data completeness, and these are our famous validation rules categorized as warnings and errors, which are all automatically and immediately visible in My Product Manager once you create or publish a product sheet. There is also very useful reporting in My Product Manager, and everything is explained in detail on our website. The completeness part is not the main subject of today's webinar, so I will not go into more detail. Today we'll be talking about the data accuracy, which is the second part, and this is the part where we want to make sure that the data that is entered and that is in the data set is really matching the physical packaging. There are, as with the data completeness, specific rules described in the data model, but these rules, they cannot be checked with automated validations. So to check if this is all correct, we need some visual inspection or comparison. And it's this check where my audit program is coming into scope, where we will really go and compare the artwork, the digital version of the artwork, with the data entered in the data set. The My Audits program is already existing for a couple of years, and the main concepts remain the same, but there are some interesting new features that went live last week on the 1st of April, which I would now like to present to you. And the first one is that we will now have our focus really on new products. In the past, we had an approach with iterations where we requested a sample set for the audit more or less every 3 or 4 months. And the sample set contained existing GTINs, some of them maybe already a little bit older and not that relevant anymore. As of last week, as of now, we will only check GTINs that were created in My Product Manager or published to My Product Manager from an external data pool as of the 1st of April 2025. But we will check every new product and not a sample set anymore. We will check every new product if it's in the scope, but this will be explained by Steffi later. These products that are called, they receive a score during an audit, and then the score remains unchanged unless that the audit relevant attributes, for example, the ingredient statement, is updated. And in that case, we will call the GTIN again for the audit. Again, only the GTINs that were created on or after the 1st of April will be called for a new audit if there is an update on the audit relevant data. That's the first new thing. As a second point, we will also increase the scope of the product categories. Until now, there were only pre-packed food products in our audit program scope, and we will expand this to 3 new product categories, which are pet food, detergents, and cosmetics. So all products that are in GPC brick codes from these product categories will also be called for the audit program. As a third point, we have now what we say an AI colleague. So it's an artificial intelligence prompt we have developed and we can use to request at our AI colleague to fill the data sets, and he can really, let's say, read the product label and then fill the data set on the attributes where it's needed. He will then compare his version with the actual data set and propose already the verdicts. And these verdicts will be checked every time by a GS1 expert. So there is always a human colleague who is performing the final check. But this human colleague will gain a lot of time thanks to the artificial intelligence. And because the human colleague gains a lot of time, we can go to the fourth new point, and that is that we offer the first audits on every new GTIN for free. This is maybe the most important new feature in the program because it will really be for every new GTIN created after the 1st of April that the first audit is for free. If the GTIN does not reach a 100% score from the first time, then there will be a need for a second or maybe a third audit on that GTIN. In that case, we will charge the audits with a price for members and a price for non-members. and you are a member of GS1 Belgium and Luxembourg, if you have at least one prefix with us, which you can use to create your GLN or GTIN, and which starts with 54. That's it for the new audit principles, and then I'll pass the floor to Steffi for the step-by-step approach.
Thank you, Bert, for explaining the new audit principles. I'm happy to take you all through the audit roadmap now. So the step-by-step guide for requesting and performing an audit, and also processing the results. In a nutshell, it still involves the same steps as before for those who know the previous audit program, which was now, as Bert told, a bit renewed. It's still a product that is called for audit in this case because it's a new product. And then you start the audit by adding some images that are adequate for the audit. Then we as GS1 perform the audit execution. You will have a result which is pass, or maybe there are some corrections to be made, and then maybe a re-audit to confirm those corrections. So this is the nutshell. I will, of course, go through each of the steps in more details and also show you the screens from my audit with some screenshots so that you already have a very good idea what to expect once you start. So step one, your product is selected for audit. Unlike before, where we carried out the so-called spot checks, and we also called some older products, we are now going to select products in my audits at the time of creation. If a product is created and there are no more errors, the item can be released, and then it will come into my audit scope. Or if you work via an external data pool, when it's published, then we will see it in my product manager, and it will become in part of the scope if it complies with certain conditions. These are the scope conditions. Being that the product is a consumer unit or a food service item, it is sold in and therefore has a target market, Belgium and or Luxembourg. It falls within the correct GPC BRIC scope, so the classification is in scope of the categories and products that Bert mentioned before. It concerns a national brand, so we don't audit private label items, only national brands. The product has no errors, therefore it can be released and published, nor has it an end date in my product manager. Otherwise, it would not be useful anymore to audit it. The product was created after the 1st of April, being last week, so 1st of April 2025. So since then, we are checking if there are new items that are created at that point. If they comply with the other conditions I mentioned, they will have become in scope, and you will soon receive also the first email to announce that there are some audits waiting to be requested. This email will also include a button that will allow you to navigate to the My Audits application and log in with your My GS1 login, where you also can go to my product manager and so on. So it's a single sign-on, and you will use that to enter my audits as well. Once you are in my audits, you will see that there is one line per GTIN that is in scope and that is ready for you to start the audit for. By clicking the GTIN, which is actually a link, you will move into the details screen where a lot of actions can happen. Very important action is to collect, or maybe you would already have collected the images or artworks. These are important for us to use as a comparison because audit is all about comparing the product master data in my product manager versus the physical product labels. So we really need a qualitative visual that will allow us to perform this comparison. So as I already mentioned, or as it's mentioned on the screen, we prefer actually an artwork, but only under the condition that it's readable, complete, that preferably there are no regions that are cut, for example, in the middle of the nutritional table, and also where we can edit the layers or where no layers are available, because it's often used for printing the artwork. A lot of indications and visualizations are there. So please allow us to remove those or provide us with a version that does not have these layers anymore. We will only use this for GS1 internal audit purposes, of course, so that's not a problem. It's very important to know that the images need to be uploaded in the tool themselves, so it's not necessary to upload your PDF artwork or pictures of all sides of the product, which is actually our second option in my product manager, because there's at this point still no link between them. It's really necessary to have a dedicated upload of your artwork or images in my audits, because there's maybe 1% images available that can be used for audit with all sides and the artwork. So we did not build a connection. So that's something I wanted to mention, because we get quite a lot of questions about that as well. And so the second option is product pictures. Here also take into account the readability, the completeness, so that we have all sides with information on it. We make sure there's no shadow, reflections, hidden parts of the packaging, that there's not an incorrect lens focus, and so on. Seems like a lot of rules for the pictures, but in fact, as long as we have all information that is readable, it doesn't need to be a professional photo shoot. Just make sure we can read clearly all information that we need to perform the comparison, please. The upload options are 100 megabytes per side in size per file, and you can upload up to 10 files per GTIN. So for each GTIN, 10 pictures or combination of picture and artwork. And the available size, the available formats at this point are TIFF, JPEG, PNG, and PDF. Maybe in the future we will have a larger possibility, but for now these seem fine for artworks and images. Then in step 2, once you have uploaded at least one artwork or image, you will be able to see the start button light up before it's already there, but it cannot be used. So once there's one image or artwork, you can press the start audit button and you will receive a pop-up. The pop-up that will ask you to tick the box that makes you confirm that we can invoice you. But of course, as mentioned by my colleague Bert, the first audit is free. And as a result, a price 0 appears on the screen. If this is the case for all products and you don't need a paying re-audit at the end, you will not be billed in that period. Normally, it will be quarterly billing. So if in that quarter you don't have new products or you don't have audits for which a re-audit was necessary, then it will remain for free. In the pop-up, you can then click once again on Start Audit, and the audit will be launched. It will be waiting for the feedback of the GS1 team to be returned to you. Requesting the audit involves one step for the suppliers, and it is followed by several actions on the GS1 side. We will not go into too much detail of the technical aspects behind it, but I would like to share the following 3 points, being that the initial check is actually by a GS1 expert to see if the GTIN has been requested with a correct image or artwork that we really can read, so taking into account the attention point that I mentioned before, and that the GTIN matches with, so on both the label and the requested GTIN that is displayed, to avoid that we have to put all attributes on fail just because we did not receive correct artwork pictures. And then next, the GS1 expert will forward these to our AI colleague, which already performs and prepares a first comparison that was already indeed explained by Bert. And then finally, the GS1 expert continues. It will be more efficient. We will double check all necessary fields and supplement, adjust where necessary. So please rest assured that this is still something that a GS1 human expert will look into, but we are just facilitating the process by using AI to gain more efficiency, and then also, as Bert mentioned, to offer the first audit for free. And in that way, we hope to have a very large participation and have our final goal, that is good quality data, even more largely into the market. And step 4, processing the audit result. After completion of the audit by the GS1 expert, it is in status completed. And at this point, once a week, if there are completed items, you will also receive an email from GS1 that results are available. You can use the button to My Audits to navigate to the audits application, so to My Audits. And there you will see the results. For each of the GTINs, check if the score in the overview screen is 100% or not 100%. These are the two possibilities that will imply a different action to be taken. If a score is 100%, no action is needed. It's important to know that the score is retained until an adjustment is made to audit relevant fields. Audit relevant fields being the label information. They are also indicated in my product manager with audit. And this excludes things like marketing information, logistical information like the dimensions, weights, and so on. So really everything that's on the label. So these are the audit relevant fields. It makes sense that if there's an adjustment made after you obtained 100%, that we can no longer guarantee to data recipients that the product still achieves 100%, and that we want to reconfirm that by putting the item back into the status new, and the flow will start again for that product. And if, of course, the product does not obtain 100%, it's necessary to check in the details screen what are the mistakes, adjust where needed in your source data pool, so either my product manager or another data pool, and then release the information so that the updated data is available for re-audit. Also, in that case, the product will have the status new, but you will be able to see something different in the details section, being that you will already see if things have changed because of your corrections. So the first option that you will see, yes, is that an attribute was and remains correct. This is a green indication pause. Second possibility is that something was wrong and that it remains wrong, that you have not made a correction that resulted into a positive change. A positive change being indicated with the verdict that is gone. So there's no green because we still need to audit it again, but there's no red either, indicating that the changes did not result into anything that could possibly be correct. So here's already, in fact, a sneak peek of will the re-audit result in a satisfying result, being 100% score after we have had another look at it. You can already see the effect of updated data, whereas before it was sometimes releasing product data, but because of sync issues, we were working on old data, and there was really a black box for everybody. So now, after releasing product updates, you will already be able to have a look if everything flowed correctly towards the screen. The yellow, the left column is the My Product Manager data, and the right column is the audit data. So that way you can already compare what will be on screen. So we hope that this helps to make the audit process more visible, also for re-audit. And then still the same flow as before. Press the Start Audit button. The image is already there because we will work further for re-audit on the image or artwork that was entered before. You click the Start Audit button, and then the pop-up is there again. Please note that this is not the first audit for that GTIN anymore, but the second audit, so the re-audit, so that there will be a price which is displayed and so on. So here again, if you press the Start Audit button, sorry, I thought there was still some animation. If you press the Start Audit button, the audit will be launched. And it's time to sit back, hopefully relax, and wait for the 100% score to come for your product. So that's what we hope, that everybody can obtain 100% via the first audit, or at least at maximum with the second audit, so that there's a low cost for everybody in the value chain. I think now the next slide is back to you, Bert.
Yes, thank you, Steffi. So this is the supplier point of view. Let's now have a quick look at the recipient's view, where we already have as well the first reporting available. And you can see an example here where the data receiver is able to view which suppliers have GTIN that are in scope for the audit and published to this data receiver. You will see which GTIN are in scope. You will not see the details of that GTIN in this reporting. You will also not see detailed mistakes at this moment, but you will see the score. So if the GTIN reached 100% or not, but also if a GTIN was called and maybe not requested yet. So it means that your data recipient will be able to see if you participate or not in the audit program, and which scores you achieved with your latest audit for every GTIN. Then, as I mentioned, I want to say something about data capture. Steffi explained the step-by-step guide which is needed for every new GTIN, and it's really for every GTIN that comes in the audit scope that we expect you to do an audit. But sometimes you are no specialist in this data management or in providing the right data in the right attributes, and you desire to outsource this. And this is possible with any partner of your own choice. As GS1, we offer a My Data Capture service where we ensure that your data is entered in all the different attributes following the instructions and conditions on the data model. But after we did, we will always have this GTIN audited as well to really prove the data quality, both to you as the one who requested the data capture, but also to the data recipients who then have really the quality visualized on their side as well. But there are other parties who offer similar services, and everyone is allowed to work with the partner of his own choice. Sometimes these partners, they offer additional services as well. For example, they might take product pictures to provide you with a correct pack shot at the same time. It's important to say here that as GS1 Belgiulux, we will not give any certification to any party. We always expect that every GTIN is participating in the audit program, and there, the score will be visualized. But of course, if the partner you're working with is entering this data in the correct way, then the first audit will always be free. So it still makes sense to to outsource this, to work with an external company if you don't have the knowledge in-house. This for data capture. Before we reach the end of the presentation, I want to have a quick look at the future as well, because the program is now ready to use, the tool is ready to use, but we did a pilot phase with some of our members, and we identified already some future improvements. For example, we want to add more reporting to the application, so that both suppliers but also retailers will know which mistakes are made most often, when are they made, how often are they made, and to learn from it to create improvement plans, for example. We also want to allow product-specific feedback in case that a pass-fail verdict is not clear enough to immediately make the needed corrections. And we want to include bulk actions in the audit application. You might know them from my project manager, and similar things can be done in the audit application as well. For example, if you want to upload different artworks for 10 GTINs that you want to have audited at the same time, and do that in the most efficient and quick way. These are functional improvements. We also have a look at the program itself, and if the program is successful, then we might extend it in the future and take into account, for example, also the products that were created before the 1st of April 2025, so the older GTINs, and then we would check them do a first check on them once there is an update on these GTIN. We can also decide to include even more product categories into the scope. I'm thinking about batteries in the FMCG sector, or maybe even the DIY garden and pet sector, where they as well have a high priority for the data quality topics. But this is all for the near future. Now it's time for you to get started. And before you do, I still want you to give some useful advice to you, which is to use the new audit program really as a way to learn and to have some things in mind. For example, we request your GTIN for an audit, or we call your GTIN for an audit immediately after you create it, but it's up to you to decide when is the most appropriate time to request this audit. If you still have to make a lot of corrections before you're convinced that your data is okay, then it's better to wait with requesting the audit until you reach that point and then request it, and hopefully have the 100% data quality from the first time. And the same, more or less, when, for example, you have 10 GTINs at the same time, 10 similar products, which are all called together for an audit, you can choose to request one audit as a start and use that feedback to learn from it, to correct the other 9 GTINs prior to their first audit, and then have them audited first time right and with 100% score, free audit. So these are some useful tips to take in mind. And with that, we are at the end of our slides. Here you can see our contact details to send us an email. I want to say again that there is a lot of information already on our website regarding the data quality program. But if you do not find your answer there, don't hesitate to send us an email. In case you send us an email, please mention my audits in your subject. By doing that, it will be routed immediately to me or Steffi or someone else from our data quality team, and you will get your answer as soon as possible. So we are at the end of our presentation. I have seen that there were some questions in the Q&A, but maybe they are all answered already. I'm not sure.
I think I got most of them. I'm currently answering the question of Hannah, so this will be answered in so second as well. So maybe we'll have to see if there's more questions, but the ones during the presentation are almost answered.
Great. If you have any questions right now, you can quickly enter them in the chat. We will give you 1 or 2 more minutes to do so. The chat should remain available as well after the webinar, so you can still check the other questions, the answers we provided to them. You might need to open the comments by clicking on Show Comment, but it's available to all. If after the session you still have any questions, then just send us the email and we will come back to them as well. So currently, I don't see any new questions incoming, and the others are all answered by Steffi. Thank you, Steffi. So then I think...
Can I add something, Bert?
Yeah.
On our website in all languages, so also English, but also French and Dutch, there is a lot of information on audits next to this webinar, and also a dedicated Q&A page, which already answers a lot of the questions that we frequently see. So make sure to check first if you find your answer, and if not, indeed happy to help via help desk. So that's what I wanted to add. Thank you.
Thank you, Steffi. There was one more question now, or comment or recommendation from Georg to use GDSN to exchange the pictures in the future. I think you mentioned it, Steffi, that we currently do not do that. It's on purpose because a lot of suppliers do not share, let's say, the right images or artworks we need to perform the audits. A lot of them also don't want to share it via the GDSN because it's sensitive information sometimes, or it's seen as sensitive information. So therefore, we keep the artworks in an internal environment and only use it for the audit. But if the question comes, we can still think about it to change it.
Yeah, at this point, the benefits and the number of use cases are too limited to make it a priority next to the other optimizations that Bert mentioned that we are currently having on the radar. But thank you for recommendation. And if indeed the time comes that we see a lot of use cases, and will be surely on our development roadmap.
Okay. I don't think there are any other questions, so we can close the session here. We're 5 minutes early, which is always good. Thank you for your attention, and we hope that you will all participate as soon as we send you the first email that your GTs are called. Thank you.